Welcome back to V's Fight Back. Today was increase day with my meal plan.
I look really not good. I apologise. I didn't sleep very well last night because I was getting really stressed about my meal plan change today. And there's a couple of changes, but they're later in the day. So right now I'm sitting down to breakfast. I've got my trusty Be Brave bowl. And I've also got a gorgeous teaspoon that someone sent me that says, do the next right thing. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself, especially on days like today, is instead of getting overwhelmed by the whole day, just taking it hour by hour, thinking, what's the next right thing to do? Deep breath and just keeping going with it. So yeah, we'll just keep going.
This was my little outfit of the day, and obviously I had positive socks on. I thought I'd do a little update today. Last week I had a really hard week, and it's taking a lot for me to say that because I feel really guilty about it. But I also know that the only thing I can do about having a bad week last week is the next right thing this week. So I spent a few days, which is why I was a bit quieter, getting back on track with things. Unfortunately, it meant my walk wasn't increased this week. And obviously the wheelchair didn't change this week, which is difficult. But all we can do is the next right thing. So I have been trying really hard the last few days to get back on track with everything. One thing I was really struggling with, and it's a small thing, but it affects me a lot mentally, is like completely finishing things, like scraping my yogurt pot clean, making sure things aren't left on the plate. So my parents have been really helping me, sort of encouraging me. I think we can scrape a bit more out of that. And it's those little things which, I mean, yeah, they add up and make a difference, but also it keeps the anorexic cognition going, where it's like, well, I didn't completely finish it, therefore, and that's like also room for a relapse to happen because, oh, well, I left a bit yesterday, so I'll leave a bit more today. And like, certainly for me, that's where things can spiral out of control because you do it once and then you do it again and again and again. So I've been trying really hard to work on those things this week, as well as getting everything back on track, but had a good chat with my parents, and sort of said, this is what I'm struggling with. So we're working through it. I'm also still working on trying to reduce my activity levels in the day. So we sort of added in more time for me to be sitting down, which again, I find very difficult. But working back to, you know, what I want to be doing, and I don't want to be standing. I don't want to be feeling I have to stand or I have to pace. I want to be able to start relaxing, and I know that the sooner I can work on all these little things, the better, because the more you do them, the more reinforced and the more difficult they become to break. So even though it's very difficult at the moment, I know it's the next right thing to keep trying with. I also obviously am still having changes to my meal plan, and those will keep on happening. So at the moment we're building up to quite a big change. So we're doing a couple of smaller changes. They're still huge changes to me, but a couple of smaller changes a week. And we're doing those for a few weeks and then changing to this bigger change in a couple of weeks, which I'm not saying what it is because it makes me so anxious. I can't even think about it at the moment. And right now, all I can think about is, right, what's the next change and how am I going to manage that? And so the change today is to these bars that I used to have and absolutely adore. And I stopped having them when I went into this relapse. So a big part of the next change coming up, it's got a lot of sort of emotion attached to it because they're what I used to love eating. I hate myself for even saying that, but they are. They used to be one of my favourite things, and I don't like allowing myself things I like. I don't feel like I deserve things. So there's a lot of emotion attached to this next meal plan change, which just makes it a bit more difficult. And I also have a new hot dinner tonight. So I'm just trying to take today an hour at a time. For part of my snack today, I'm having one of my absolute favourite bars, the chocolate cake Alani bar. I've had a very difficult morning, so yeah, just needed something that I knew I liked. I think what I wanted to talk about today is body dysmorphia because, like, I've been diagnosed with anorexia since my early teens, even though I've had points of complete remission since then. But I never really struggled with body dysmorphia, and I never really struggled with my body that much. Like, my anorexia was always surrounding other aspects of my mental health or things like that. And this relapse has been different because I really, really struggled with it. What I see and how I perceive myself is apparently very different to what reality is. And I have never struggled with it as much as I have now. And I find it really, really difficult to believe people. I am trying to trust my team and my nurse, my dietitian, but I don't believe what they tell me about where I am physically or anything like that. And it's a very confusing part for me because it is quite new. And I probably say in almost every single one of these videos that I think the only person that's still surprised how difficult I'm finding all of this is me. And it is. I still expect myself, I still don't think that I'm that unwell. Like, I still sort of think, oh, well, I can just, I'll get back on track with things. Everything will be fine. I'll manage that. And it comes around to it, and I find it really difficult. And part of what's making that so difficult at the moment is that I don't think I'm fat. I just think I'm big. I think I'm just, well, that bit's too big and that bit's too big. I think people think body dysmorphia is looking in the mirror and seeing a fat person looking back. I know rationally that that's not real. But what I find really difficult to deal with at the moment is I am perceiving me piling on weight really, really quickly. I'm really, really self-conscious at the moment, especially of like my face and things like that, which ironically is, I don't mind wearing a mask at the moment. The silver lining of COVID. I'm really worried that my face is really round and things like that, and I find it really difficult it's what makes me struggle with my meal plan, is because I look at myself and I think I don't need this much, which, as I say it now, it's obviously that is an anorexic cognition, but for me that is so real. It doesn't feel like something I can say that's the illness, because I'm like, but I know, I can see it. How do I not believe what I see? And this is where I take a deep breath and I try and trust the people around me. But it's very, very difficult to not trust yourself. And I'm such an independent person. I don't like relying on people. And at the moment I have to rely on people to tell me what's real. And that's really, really difficult, because I still believe what I see is real. And there was this quote, and it was like, having an eating disorder is like seeing a chair painted red and everyone tells you it's blue, and you just have to trust that it's blue even though you see it as red, and you're like, okay, if you say it's blue, but I know it's red. That's kind of how I feel at the moment, where I'm like, but what I see and what I think about how I am, that is so real to me. I'm trying to trust people and what people are saying to me, but I don't believe it, and that's something I'm finding very challenging at the moment. And I'm sure I'll look back at this and think, how did I not know? Because right now I look back at myself 4 months ago and think, how did I not know? But I can't apply that logic to where I am right now. It's very confusing and very tiring. I'm just sitting down to lunch and I've got my hummus falafel wrap today, which my mum's just making for me. And it's a different type of hummus and a different type of falafel today. And it's also on my increase day. I've got my increase later, and also having a hot meal today. So I'm really pushing myself, but we'll be fine. Then me and Mum took the boys on a dog walk, which was really, really nice. Just helped me breathe and get some fresh air. It's afternoon snack time, and it is also my meal plan increase time. And I have been overthinking this ever since it was agreed with my dietitian a few weeks ago. If you're watching this on my YouTube, I've already explained my meal plan changes. If you're watching on my TikTok and you want to know more, then go to my YouTube. But today I'm trying for the first time this protein brownie, and it's part of a few weeks of Fee's better afternoon snacks. I used to have these all the time, and I used to really like them. I've never had this one before. This is a new flavour, but I used to have that type of brownie bar all the time, and I really liked them, so I know that I do like them. They've just been a bit of a block for me. So yes, today is the day we're going to have one again, and I'll be having them every day for a few weeks. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about this, or have been overthinking it for a long time, and especially starting with a flavour that I've never had before. But yeah, I can do hard things and I can do this. So deep breath, just keep going. I'd never tried this bar before, but the description sounded really nice.
And I did like it, but it definitely wasn't my favourite. I'm not really a dessert person, so I should have seen sticky toffee pudding and thought, maybe not for me. But I'm glad I tried it. I just wouldn't rush back to get it. I know that there's other flavours that I prefer. I've given myself a headache from crying so much. But I had a really important chat with Mum. First off with one of my very close friends. The truth is I'm struggling a lot at the moment. And I've been trying to pull myself out of it, but I've been finding it very hard to do so. So I said to Mum, I just think I need a bit more help again. I know it was the right thing to do. I'm just very angry with myself and also just exhausted. I'm not going to talk about the things I'm struggling with because I don't want to trigger or upset anyone. But I'm not managing enough at the moment. I'm not living my best life. I'm not happy. And this isn't how it was supposed to go. This isn't. I know I need to just take a deep breath and keep going. I've done the right thing by telling people that I'm finding things really hard at the moment. And I'm taking some painkillers for the stress headache I've given myself. And I'm hoping that letting people know and talking about what's been going on in my head means that I might start sleeping a bit better, because I'm so anxious at the moment. And it's because there's been so much stuff that I've not been managing, and I've been so terrified of managing it and not managing it. I don't know anymore. Just deep breath, keep going.
It's time for the next hot meal. So we're doing roasted sweet potato and vegetables and sausages, all roasted in oil. But I know it's one of my old favourite meals, so I really want to do it. I've got the most amazing fork which says "Feast Fight Back" and hope on it. So I'm hoping that gets me through.
I'm still on half portions, so I did have this and then something else afterwards. I found it very, very challenging having a whole dish cooked in oil, which is one of my biggest fear foods. And also just because I know I used to love it, it brought up a lot of memories for me. But despite a lot of anxiety, I managed it, and then I had my yogurt afterwards too.
You can probably tell I've got a horrible cray face. I had a really hard evening. I had a big freak out over dinner, and then I got really angry with myself because I freaked out over dinner. But I managed it all, which is really good. I'm just so angry with myself that I found it hard, and then I got angry with myself because I freaked out and I didn't want to put my parents through me freaking out over food. And then I just got angry because the old Fee used to eat that and enjoy it, and I just couldn't enjoy it today. And all I could think about was, did I eat too much, and was there too much oil in it? And oh gosh, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I really wouldn't. And I know I say that probably in every video, but I wouldn't. I think for now, just need to take some time to breathe, get into my pyjamas, have a cuddle with the dogs, and tomorrow's a new day. And literally, as I was coming upstairs to get in my pyjamas, the song came on. I can't even remember what it's called. It's one of my favourite songs with the quote in it, "The sun will rise and we will try again." And that's what I'm gonna have to do for today. I've pushed myself today. And it's been harder than I thought it would be. But that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day.
Despite a difficult evening, I managed my full night snack. And I wanted to finish on this quote today.